really sure what that means anymore. But we really appreciate it. It looks like we have a great group so far. I can't see exactly how many. It looks like we have about 15 people. Perfect,
Whoa.
perfect. Which is really terrific. So maybe we'll give it another minute or two while we're getting ready. If people want to say a little bit about if you have questions you hope we answer during this time, or just while we have a minute before we get started.
Sure. I really want to go to Berlin. Is there any way to do a side trip before or after the cruise to Berlin?
By all means, we could set something up for yourself to go for a couple of days prior. And then it would be just another flight from Germany into Budapest. And I'm sure actually the flights from Berlin to Budapest are quite inexpensive. Usually inter-European flights are, and they're relatively quick. So something like that could be set up. Absolutely.
Okay. My father was from Berlin. I want to see where he was.
Ah, okay. Okay. I've been to a couple different cities in Germany, but Berlin isn't one of them yet. So
Berlin is beautiful. I was there about 20 years ago, and it's really interesting. There's a Jewish museum now, and really interesting. Yeah, great little Jewish community there too. All right, why don't we get started? Because I do think we are broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube. And it's really, really great to see everyone. It's been such a trying time here in our world, and it's hard to believe we can even imagine a trip. What we're about to present to you tonight is the product of Liz Staley, who came and approached me about the idea of a trip a couple of months ago. And she was thinking about this for quite a while. And it really was great timing that it's here, at the end of the pandemic, and we're getting back to normal life. And we start to dream. So tonight is about really dreaming about where this will go. I have some partners in crime here, Al Gellin and Robin Raphael. I'm going to turn it over to them to just say a little bit about their hopes and dreams of this trip, if there's anything they want to share.
Well, we're really excited about this trip. We actually were scheduled to go on an AMA Waterways cruise 2 years ago, right? And then, of course, the pandemic hit, or a year and a half ago, the pandemic hit. And so that trip was canceled. And then we rescheduled it for this May, and it's also canceled again. So we're hoping to go on this trip that Liz has planned, and we're excited about it because the itinerary is somewhat similar to the trip that we were going to do. Of course, it doesn't have the trip we were going to do doesn't have the Jewish element to it, but it seems to us like a really great trip, and then adding in the Jewish themed activities is really great. And I know for me, I really love these trips that we do. We did we've done the Shir Shalom trip to Israel several years ago, and then we were on the Jewish Federation trip. And the thing that I love about these trips is that it's really a great chance to get together with other Jewish people in the community or with our temple, and get a chance to have a bonding experience. These travel adventures really are a lot of fun when you can kind of create new friendships and bond with people. So that's another aspect of this type of a trip that I really love. So we're excited about it, and we hope other people get excited about it too.
So thank you, Al. Robin, did you want to add anything?
Nope, I did not.
Just checking. Okay. So actually we do, Alan mentioned that we have, we've done some other trips, and actually several of you have already participated on our communal trips. So you have an idea of what it means to travel together as a Buffalo community, and how wonderful that could be. So just so you know, Liz Staley is the daughter of Paul Staley. So those of you from Shir Shalom, you might know that is our organist, piano player extraordinaire. And Liz actually participates in our High Holy Days with the cello. And she's been kind of an active supporter of our community through her dad. And she also happens to work over down the road at AAA, which is what she loves to do. And so I'm going to turn it over to Liz to really tell us the lay of the land.
Okay, thanks, Rabbi. I am just so happy to be here with you all tonight. So thank you very much for joining tonight. Before we begin, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself, because as we plan this trip together, I will be traveling with you. It's always nice to know the people that you're traveling with. As Rabbi said, my dad's Paul Staley. He's your organist over at Shir Shalom. And like my parents too, I'm also a musician. I work part-time as one of the co-directors of music at Salem UCC in the city of Tonawanda. I love art, photography, history. My education actually is kind of what started my path into travel. It's odd, but it got me there. My master's work was on biblical literature, and I had a major focus on ancient rabbinic texts of Torah and the prophets, and studied a little bit of Latin, a little bit of Hebrew, a little bit of Greek. So my appreciation and fascination of Judaic practices and tradition and history really grew through that. But I've always had this deep love of travel and exploring the world and furthering my own knowledge of the world around me. So fast forward years, and here we are today. I just celebrated my 8-year anniversary with AAA. My love of travel has just really helped me find my niche, my passion. And I have been toying with the idea of doing this type of group cruise on Jewish history and culture for a number of years. Like, we're talking like 3 or 4 years. And if anything, the pandemic really taught me, stop thinking and just do, because you never know when everything's going to be put on hold. So working with AAA has afforded me a number of amazing opportunities in travel, you know, to explore my thirst for knowledge, have an outlet to share that knowledge and passion, and grow the travel business while keeping all that business local right here in our own Western New York area. I always knew that there was rich Jewish culture embedded deep in the heart and history of Europe. And really, it's just waiting for us to discover it. So here I am with you tonight. This is my 2021 resolution right here in this presentation, to put this amazing trip into fruition and to make these discoveries achievable for all of us. So as we go through the presentation, feel free to use the chat feature on Zoom. Throw in those questions as you think of them. For our friends on Facebook who are watching, I'm actually watching for questions too on my phone. Use the chat there. We'll come back and do a little Q&A after the presentation. So this is our trip, Amma Waterways. It's a Jewish heritage cruise along the Danube River, August 18 to 29 of next summer. One of the things I really want to start out with first off is why we're doing this now. Amma Waterways is extending a very generous discount for booking right now. And if you enjoy the presentation, and you decide, yes, this is the time to start planning, so we have something to look forward to. If you book with me before May 31st, they are deducting $750 per person off of the cost of your travel package. So, and also too, if you happen to be a AAA member, I can get an additional $150 off of the cabin price for you as well. Any of the local people who are not AAA members, that's okay. We can help you with that. So where are we going? We will be sailing the Danube River. Yes, the very river that the waltz is named after. We will start in Budapest in Hungary. We will sail through into Slovakia, into Austria, Germany, and then we will be taking a 3-day land tour in Prague afterwards. We have 11 amazing days to visit 5 countries and see the rich history of Jewish life and culture in Southeastern Europe. So who are we traveling with? Again, this is with AMA Waterways. AMA Waterways is
There's
a
about
private
20 people
family-owned
on the
business.
Zoom, 18 on the Zoom.
Everyone should stay muted. Sorry, during Liz's presentation. Just Joanne, just make sure everyone is muted.
Okay. So it's a private family-owned business. They have a small fleet of ships, but they are considered a luxury line. Even though they are luxury, they operate with all of the comfort and amenities of home to give you the best cruise experience ever. I personally have sailed with AMA Waterways and was simply blown away by my journey with them, and I know that all of you will be too. And this is our ship. This is the AMA Sonata, built in 2014. The ship boasts a remarkable length of 443 feet, but a very tiny waistline of only 38 feet. This is so they can maneuver the riverbanks and operate the ship. It only contains 81 guest staterooms and can carry only 162 passengers at full capacity. It offers a very homey and intimate experience in cruising that ocean liners absolutely do not offer. Aboard the AMA Sonata, you will experience artistic, award-winning dining with some of the most talented chefs in Europe. The ship contains a fitness room, a sun deck pool complete with a swim up bar. So when you're sailing in August and it's a little bit warm, hop in the pool for a little bit. The hair salon, a bright and inviting public space all over the ship, such as reading lounges and large living rooms filled with dozens of comfortable couches, tables, and chairs, really to make you feel at home and as comfortable as possible. All staterooms are appointed with beautiful furnishings. Now, before I move on, I really want to just touch on the whole COVID thing. We are moving into a new level of normalcy following a global pandemic. So it's important to know that we will not be, more than likely, the only ones aboard this ship. There will be others that we will be sharing this space with. But just like here, protocols are evolving. So we will be staying on top of the European Union's COVID regulations and rules, as well as what the cruise lines are doing. And we will follow that all the way up until we leave, so we make sure everyone is prepared and relaxed and ready to have a good trip. So these are the staterooms, just some sample pictures. There are 4 different categories. We have fixed windows, French balconies, French and full balconies, and suites. So a French balcony is made of just a sliding glass door for anyone who's never been on a river cruise. The sliding glass door is just like a regular French door, but there's no patio to go out on. It's just to open up to have some fresh air and let the light in. A regular balcony, such as these ones here, let's see here. Yeah, these ones here will have an actual patio that you can sit out in, and then the other one is just the doorway. Let's see here. In each room, you will have a Mac computer that functions both as your television and a computer to stay in touch with people at home, check your emails, go on Facebook if you want. A small fridge, a beautiful bed with linens that can be split into 2 twins or to 1 queen. On the walls are adorned with art and storage space. Every stateroom has a lovely bathroom area, and for people who are concerned, hair dryers are included, so you don't need to pack that with your luggage. Regardless of the stateroom, though, anywhere from the fixed windows all the way up to the suites, everyone is considered family. The staff always makes sure that you are taken very well care of. In order to get a better idea of the layout of the ship, I figured I would put the deck plan out here. So if you notice here, the staterooms take up the middle section of the ship. The forward of the ship is the public space, the lounges, dining area. This one is the sun deck. This is the upper deck that everyone can sit outside in. And if you've never cruised before, many people will say, oh, this area of the ship is the best, or this is. But truth be told, when it comes to river cruising, anywhere on the ship is best. The ship is not like an ocean liner. It's steady. It doesn't rock. It's rolling down a river very smoothly. So any place on this ship is a good place to be. On the top deck, the sun deck is where you'll find your pool. There is a walking track and plenty of seating, a lot of shade areas too, if it's a very sunny day. And the other nice thing is, if you notice, because the ship is split in half, what's nice is when local entertainers are brought on board, they'll bring bands or quartets or singers. If you're particularly tired and don't want to stay up and you want to go to bed, because of the divide, it's very easy to have a quiet space to go to despite the band playing. We actually had a Monkees, what do you call, like cover band come on and play our last night. Drums, guitars, the works. I was exhausted. I went back to my room and I want to say I was maybe right by the stairwell. I never heard a thing. I went right to bed. So just know that it's not one of those things where the ship is so tiny you won't get any sleep anywhere. It's very quiet. The ship is beautifully designed with the passengers in mind. So these are just a few more pictures so you can get a feel of what's there. This is the guest services desk. This is where you'll go to get help with anything you may need. Every morning when we're in port, they provide free maps of the towns and the cities we're visiting. So that way you can go to them for setting up what tour you want to take, if there's options, set up your dinner at the chef's table. You can set up your room bill and everything like that there. The ship does come equipped with an elevator, so if people have some mobility needs and the stairs are not the easiest, the elevator does reach between a couple of levels, and outside there is also an elevator that will bring you up to the sun deck too. A supersized chessboard also hangs out up on the sun deck too, so if you need to pass some time, you can play a giant game of chess. And some of the ships do actually offer morning yoga on the sun deck too. Beautifully appointed dining room. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner is served here. There is no selecting times to eat. It's just one time for lunch, one time for dinner, so you don't have to do all of that extra planning. It's all at the same time each day, and you don't have set tables. So if you decided you just want to dine alone with the person you came with, you can. If you would like to dine with new friends that you made on a tour, you can. They'll seat you according to what your needs or likes are that night. And this is just a small section of the main living room. Like I said, there are couches and comfy armchairs. Midday, you'll get snacks put out to enjoy. Usually around lunchtime and dinner time, there will be live piano music provided just for a little extra entertainment. And if you look towards the upper left-hand corner, you'll see the bar. The bar is open all afternoon and evening. Alcoholic drinks are provided and free during lunch and dinner. Anytime between meals or before, like lunch, you can obviously get a mimosa or anything like that, but they will charge it to the room. And if they bring entertainment on, this is where the entertainment is. So they'll move out the furniture to make room for dancing and everything like that. So now we know a little bit about the ship. Let's talk a little bit about our itinerary. So our first stop is going to be Budapest. Quick disclaimer, because I know some people are going to ask, what's our air like? Right now, it's still too early. We don't have an air schedule. We don't have air pricing. We are looking between flights from either Buffalo or Toronto. Toronto is one of our choices because they offer nonstop service between Budapest and Prague. So we're going to try to price it out, find the best rates. If you have points from, vacations that never happened and you want to book your own airfare, absolutely. But we are going to price out some group air for everyone too, in case there's a little, hesitation of trying to book your own flights. Once we know that, absolutely, we'll communicate it to everyone that's interested. So first stop, Budapest. All right. So after an overnight flight, we will land in Budapest the next morning. We will head to the ship to hand in our luggage, check in, freshen up a little bit. You'll have the day to explore on your own. We will be spending the night on the ship in Budapest, so we are afforded 2 days in this city to enjoy. Day one, I do not recommend, if you've never been to Europe, I do not recommend going to your room and snoozing. It's going to make it very difficult to get adjusted to the time change over the course of the week. Stay up, stay awake, walk it off, go check out the city, come back for a reception, and then sleep the night away. Budapest offers an unmatched combination of culture and tradition. The two names actually come from the cities of Buda and Pest that united together as one across the river from one another. The architecture really is something to marvel at, as you can clearly see by the Parliament building here on the left. And we'll be treated this evening to a welcome gathering on the ship with champagne, a quick safety rundown, and then an introduction to the staff on the ship before dinner. You'll learn a little bit more what to expect on our journey, and that evening, as it will be Friday, we will have space on the ship to celebrate a Shabbat service together on board. On day two in Budapest, at 9:45 a.m., we will have our very own privately curated walking tour. We will head to St. Stephen's Park and visit the Doheny Street Synagogue, one of the largest synagogues in all of Europe. We will have a stop at the Tree of Life Memorial nearby. And then we will take in Budapest's long Jewish history at the Jewish Museum. And after that, we'll spend some reflection time at the Somber Memorial of the Shoes at the Danube's Edge. This is a moving and chilling Holocaust memorial consistent of shoes all pointed towards the river, true to life in both size and detail, sculpted out of iron. The memorial actually depicts the shoes left behind by the thousands of Jews who were murdered by the arrow cross during the Holocaust. The silent sculpture speaks volumes to the sadness of the past. Depending on the schedule for sailing, you may have time to spend in the city on your own for a little while longer, enjoy some local eats or coffees, visit a couple of shops, and dinner will be served on board. Eventually, we'll set sail to our next destination. And the first thing, I want to just add a quick side note here too. One of the things that I really loved about my experience with AMA is how they do their tours. Your tour guide is going to have a microphone. You will actually have a little ear pod that sits in your ear with a little pack that sits comfortably in your pocket. They call it a quiet box. This allows you to maintain about a 20-foot distance from your tour guide, but sound like they're talking right into your ear. So you're not fighting to hear your tour guide speak. You're not rushing up to the front of the crowd to listen to what they're saying or to hear them better. This allows you the freedom to move around, experience the spaces around you inside and out. And also, when we're in religious buildings, it allows us to maintain a more quiet reverence for everyone who's there. It's an amazing little piece of technology, and it made the tours all that much more amazing. So the next stop on our itinerary, this is in Bratislava, Slovakia, host to the crowning ceremonies of 11 Hungarian kings and queens between the years of 1536 and 1830. Bratislava has earned the title Coronation City of Kings. It is the perfect introduction to smaller and lesser known cities that have been left unexplored by people who go to visit Europe. One day in this city is the perfect time. It's the capital of Slovakia, and despite its title and its city status, like New York is 8.4 million, Buffalo is about 1 million residents, Bratislava's population actually is only about 430,000. Yet it's still the political and cultural and economic center of Slovakia. Depending on the ship arrives, there may be time in the morning. I don't know exactly what those times are going to be yet. They're still working on all of those. There may be some time to go into town for a little bit on your own, take in some of the shops or things. In the afternoon, though, we will have a local guide meet us for our private tour of the city, and we'll be able to learn about her past. We'll visit the Cathedral of St. Martin for a quick bit, and then continue on to the town hall, where we'll see the old main entrance to the city, It's called St. Michael's Gate. We will take in the noteworthy art also of the city's Holocaust Memorial as well. And after our time in the city, we're going to actually take a short train ride out of the city walls, and we'll be able to go here to visit the tomb of the revered Rabbi Chaim Sofer. You'll have some time to walk through the gravesite area, pray, pay your respects. We'll be home to the ship by about 4 p.m. to freshen up for dinner, have a drink or two, and then enjoy our meal. After passing the day in Bratislava, we'll sail on to Vienna, also known as the City of Waltzes. Vienna offers a wealth of gems and regal splendors to take in. This is an amazing city. From the Vienna Opera House and the former Imperial Palace of the Habsburgs, we'll spend most of the day in one of Europe's most musical cities. I can tell you this is probably going to be one of the stops where you wish we had a couple of days to spend here, but I promise you it's going to be a very full day for while we're here. We will have a privately curated tour here as well. Bright and early that morning, we will depart the ship with our own bus, and we're going to go visit the Jewish quarter, 2nd District, Schwedenplatz. From there, we will visit the stunning Stad Temple Synagogue, and we'll walk over to St. Stephen's Cathedral. Most of the reasons is because the cathedrals are the hearts of the town, so that's kind of, you know, your pinpoints. From the cathedral, we can move onward actually to the Jewish Museum Palais Escalais. This is the world's oldest Jewish museum, whose many artifacts and priceless possessions somehow actually survived the war and are currently still on display to view and enjoy. From there, we'll walk on to Albertina Square and we'll visit the monument against war and fascism. And then the rest of the day we'll have to enjoy on our own. If the cruise staff is offering any extra tours in the afternoon that you wish to take, you are welcome to do so and join up with them, or you can just hang out on your own too. On the way back, we do recommend a couple of different places for midday snacks or anything. If you don't feel like coming back to the ship to eat, you can grab a pastry or a snack at the Kosher Chabad House in Vienna, or better yet, there is a very famous pastry shop called the Demel Pastry Shop. They serve sandwiches, pastries, sweet treats. This place is always packed with guests, but this pastry shop has been serving Vienna since the 1700s. It is a must-see if you can make it. And of course, no time in Vienna would be complete without an evening of music. So come back to the ship, freshen up a little bit, have dinner, or come back to the ship, freshen up, and go have dinner out on the town, and let the music of Vienna move you. So we'll be sure to join in the fun and the living history. There is an optional classical concert that you are welcome to take part in. It is a $50 per ticket charge, but the ship already has pre-purchased tickets that you can buy from them, so you don't need to worry about getting in line or doing, anything like that. The concert will be in one of the truly great formal concert houses of Imperial Vienna. There's 2 places this could be, and they're still working out the schedule. It's either going to be held at the historic Hofburg Palace, which is now where the president of Austria lives and works, kind of like our White House, or will be at the opulent Palais Augsburg, which was built in the early 1700s and former grand home of many princes and European royal families. No matter what the venue, though, you will have the experience of a lifetime. You're going to listen to a concert with some of the most popular compositions of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and Johann Strauss. They're all performed by local renowned musicians in the very venues that they were listened to at the time of their own compositions. Following the concert, you can go and enjoy the Ringstrasse, which is basically the large boulevard down the center of the city. It's full of grand buildings. You can walk past the State Opera, Parliament, City Hall, the Museum of Fine Arts, and many more. And this magnificent boulevard is already beautiful with all of its architecture, but at night, it's, as you can see here, it's all lit up and it's quite breathtaking to take in. So that was the first 4 days. We're on to day 5. We're going to go into 2 small medieval villages this day, Weissenkirchen and Grein. It's going to be a short sail down the Danube from Vienna. With a very small population of just about 1,500 residents, the medieval town of Weissenkirchen is nestled quietly on the Danube between the rolling green hills of covered in vineyards and dense forest. It's named after the big white church sitting in the middle of the town. And the town offers us a few choices for excursions this day. We can take a walking tour of the Dürnstein before visiting the UNESCO heritage site of the Milk Abbey. For a more culinary focus, you can enjoy a wine tasting hosted by a local vintner and sample some special apricot treats from a local boutique. If you prefer something a little bit more active, they're going to offer a hiking tour as well as a bike tour to Milk. The ship actually is equipped with 20 to 30 bikes, which are free to take on your own if they have leftovers, and they also use them for biking tours too. It's kind of fun to bike down the river and see all the sights when you're pedaling along. And of course, it's a very tiny town. You're welcome to explore on your own if you wish to. After a few hours in Weissenkirchen, we'll sail down through the Strudengau Valley to medieval Grein. The town has a population of about 2,900 residents. And while we're here on a short visit, we are going to have an exclusive visit to the Greinberg Castle, which is this building right here. And I don't know if you can see my mouse. It's the top right photo of the slide. It's over 500 years old. And while we're there, we're also going to be treated to a folklore show and a wine reception. Quick note, when they offer wine, it's usually from the local winemakers, the local vintners. Some of these wineries have been in production since the 1600s, and they have sustained themselves for several hundred years. And believe me, if you want to know what a perfected wine is, these guys know. So just putting it out there. Our next stop on day 6, we're still in Austria. We're going to go to the town of Linz, and our private tour will also, Linz will go from Linz to Salzburg as well. Linz is actually the 3rd largest city in Austria, once actually founded by the Romans. For science-minded folk, this is where Johannes Kepler lived. He's the man who discovered the laws of planetary motion. For musical-minded folk, this is the home of 20th century composer Anton Bruckner. And for historians, this is the city where Adolf Hitler lived as a child and the city that inspired him as an adult. So there is a great deal of bright and dark history in this city. We will have another bright and early day to get everything in for our group. Linz is the epicenter of some of the highest forms of cultural expressions, but carries some of the darkest chapters of European history. Our buses and guides will be waiting for us at the ship, and from there they will take us to the Hauptplatz, or the town center, for a walking tour to see the Linz Synagogue. This temple was burned down on Kristallnacht on November 10th of 1938. We actually will be granted an indoor visit there to hear more about their story. We'll pass by the Rathaus, which is the town hall of Linz, model city, school of Hitler, and the former residence of Ernst Kaltenbrunner, who was a major overseer of the Jewish genocide during the war, as well as their friend Adolf Eichmann, one of the organizers of the Holocaust. It's definitely heavy history, but if you're like me, I do believe that embracing and experiencing history, especially in tangible ways such as this is how we mentally and emotionally learn, and we grow and shape our future for better days ahead of us and become better people for it. So next is from Linz, we will board our bus and make a 2-hour drive to southwest Salzburg. This is the birthplace of Mozart. It borders the Alpine Mountains and other cities, and another city of pure Austrian beauty. Salzburg is also known as Austria's most inspiring city. Our arrival in Salzburg will take us to the local synagogue, and please forgive my poor partial German pronunciation here. Israelitische Kultusgemeinde of Salzburg. We will have an inside visit there to learn about the Jewish struggles in Salzburg. And these did not just start around the time of the war, but they go as far back as 1350 during the Black Death. The people of Salzburg actually blamed the Jews for the spread of the plague, and it was as far back as that that the Jewish population here actually began to diminish over the next 350 years. The temple will provide, I think, a great deal of information and stories to share about this long journey. Following our visit at the temple, you'll have a little bit more time to continue stretching your legs from the drive, and then we'll return to the ship by dinner time around 6:30. So our last 2 days of the ship will be spent with a stop in Passau, and we will disembark in Wilshofen in Germany. Passau is located in the southeastern corner of Germany. It's known as the Lower Bavaria, and it's dubbed the name City of Three Rivers. Here you can see the Danube meets the Inn and the Ilz rivers. There's a river that comes here, and then the three. This area also saw some of its worst flooding actually in 2013. And while you're visiting, you can actually see many of the buildings have markers that are placed on the walls where the water had risen to in the city during those bad floods. You'll have multiple options to choose from in our visit to Passau. You can enjoy a walking tour, marvel at the Gothic and Italian Baroque architecture with a visit to the cathedral, or you can choose between a guided hike to Vesta Oberhaus Fortress, or you can take a bike tour along the Danube. Our day will end after a cruise into Wilshofen, and this town can look back on a history of over 1,200 years. Located on the edge of the southern Bavarian forest, this town boasts a wonderful blend of old German tradition and modern life. We will spend the night on the ship in Wilshofen, but for our arrival that evening, we are going to be treated to an exclusive early Oktoberfest celebration just for Amma's guests. August is a little early, but hey, why not? Any time to celebrate's a good time for me. As we'll be docked right in town, so long as restrictions continue to ease up, we're probably going to have the entire evening. You can come back to the ship when you like and head to bed when you're ready. The next morning, we will rise and bid farewell to our beloved Amma Sonata, and we'll begin the last days of our journey by land. Now, our luggage and group, we will be boarded to a bus where we'll make our way to Prague in the Czech Republic. On the way there, we will take a short break in Regensburg. One of Germany's best preserved medieval cities is Regensburg. It's actually a registered World UNESCO Heritage Site. For those of you who enjoy the mind-blowing feat of Gothic cathedral architecture, such as myself, the Dome, which is German for cathedral, hovers over the town, and it's a sight to behold, especially when you know it took zero technology and the strength of just mere mortals to build this amazing structure. The construction for this cathedral actually started in 1273, and it took until 1634 to partially finish. It wasn't actually fully completed until the 1800s. But we will enjoy a leg stretch here, a guided walking tour just to get acquainted with the town. We'll meet our bus after a little while and continue on to Prague. Prague is the capital and the largest city in the Czech Republic. It's the 13th largest city in the European Union and home to about 1.3 million residents. This is the cultural, political, and economic center of Central Europe. This is our hotel. Our hotel in Prague will be the Art Deco Imperial Hotel, located right in the heart of the city. It's the perfect location for accessing all of the city center sites, museums, restaurants, and location really truly is everything. But in Amma form, the hotel experience, of course, must match that of the ship. So the stunning design of the hotel creates a beautiful marriage of old royal Europe together with modern flair for a luxurious and comfortable stay. And I can't get over how stunning these pictures are, and I can only imagine what it looks like in person. On our land journey, for the 3 days that we're in Prague, breakfasts will be included. However, lunches and dinners will be on our own. Prague is a large metropolis with lots of options for good eats. So while you're out exploring during your stay, during free time, of course, you know, feel free to grab something from one of the local eats. We also have the hotel restaurant too. Our private now, I don't know, I will preface it with this. I don't know what day we're going to be doing these 2 tours, but we have 2 full days in Prague. One day we'll have this tour and one day we'll have the next. This is our own private Jewish cultural tour in Prague. We will take a journey through Josefov, the Jewish ghetto. We will pay a visit to the old new synagogue, and we will take a short driving tour over to the Zitskov Cemetery for some time to walk, reflect, pay respects, and we'll be back to the hotel by about 12:30, just in time for some lunch. So you have time to take a rest, enjoy the rest of the day on your own. Another note, the cruise director will also be traveling with us on our land portion. So if you do need ideas of where to go, help making reservations for anything, they, along with the front desk staff of the hotel, will be more than happy to assist. So our second tour that's included in our stay is the Somber visit to the Terretson concentration camp, which is located about 30 miles north of Prague. This location was originally a holiday resort reserved for Czech nobility. But in 1940, Nazi Germany assigned the Gestapo to turn Terretson into a Jewish ghetto and concentration camp. It primarily held Jews from Czechoslovakia, but also tens of thousands of Jews from Germany, Austria, Netherlands, Denmark. More than 150,000 Jews were sent here, including over 15,000 children. They were held here for months to years before then being sent to Treblinka and Auschwitz camps in Poland. If any of your families had ancestors or loved ones who were at Treblinka or Auschwitz, they very well may have also been here at Terretson during holding. This day will both be special and sad, but it is a crucial part of history we must acknowledge and embrace, and it gives us a chance to honor the lives lost by the horrors of the anti-Semitic movement of the Nazi regime. Our day, though, will conclude back in Prague, and this will also be our last night in Prague, and we'll bid farewell and make our journey home the next morning. So I think most of you probably can agree with me. This trip is going to involve a little bit of a roller coaster of emotional experiences, but I think it promises to be a really enriching experience, offering a little something for every kind of interest in our group. Before I open anything to questions, I would like to go over the pricing first, because I'm sure that is the #1 question on everyone's list first. So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk first about our inclusions, everything that I explained, so you know what's included with the prices. Aboard the ship for the 7-night cruise portion, all meals that they serve, all snacks, all adult beverages at lunch and dinner, this is all included. The only things that are not included are alcoholic beverages and sodas in between meal service times. Food also includes bottled water, sparkling water bottles in your room, alcohol, like I said, during lunch and dinner. Anything extra you can just purchase at the bar. While we're on the cruise, any of the tours, both our private ones and then the ones that we have to choose from, in Weissenkirchen, Grein, these are all included. All you need to do is decide which one you're most interested in. The only one that's not included is the concert in Vienna. Completely up to you if you want to purchase the tickets. Like I said, you can purchase them the day of if you decide. Any transportation that's required to get you from point A to point B is going to be included with your tours. What's not included are the gratuities for your tour guides, for our tour guides and our drivers. Keep in mind, if you've not been to Europe, tour guides, bus drivers, they're all paid living wages. It's not a side gig or anything like that. Because here we would pay anywhere from $10 to $20 for a gratuity to thank our tour guide. Over there, we're talking maybe €1 or $2, like handing over $1 or $2 as a quick thank you. And you can give that to the tour guide at the end of the tour. And if you feel so, to the bus driver too. And then for our 3-night land package, the hotel is included, all of your breakfasts. Truth be told, there's a ton of affordable restaurants in the city of Prague. Lunches and dinners will be on our own. And then also our tours and transportation from Vilshofen to Prague will be included too. So here's what we got. including everything. And again, the air is not built in yet. Some of you might want to use points or leftover travel vouchers for flights. That's okay too. But for the cruise, the land tour, and all of those inclusions, we have a couple starting at prices. We have fixed windows staterooms starting at about $57.49 per person. French balcony staterooms are starting at approximately $6,900 per person. French and full balcony staterooms, they're starting at just about $74.50 per person, and suites are starting at $93.49 per person. All of these, again, include all of those things that I listed prior. What's also just something to be aware of, because a lot of people ask when they've cruised, what about gratuities for the ship? They will give you a spiel, whatever you're comfortable with. They want you to be happy with your experience. They want you to pay what you feel is fair at the end of the cruise. They will not allow prepaid gratuities. I think on my cruise, I did about, like, it was me and my spouse, I want to say we did maybe like $175 each. And that was our gratuity to the cruise staff at the end. Starting prices here on this chart, it means that there are different types of rooms within that category, and that's the starting rate. If any of you have ever cruised on an ocean liner, you'll have noticed the same thing. A balcony room will cost differently depending on where it's located on the ship. Same thing here. No location is bad, but pricing does vary based on that. So when you are interested in booking, we will look and see what is available. We can give you the best, lowest rate available to do that. For single travelers, yes, there is a single supplement. That does mean the room costs more for a single traveler. It's about equivalent to the cost of one passenger and 20% of what a second passenger would be. That can be really tough on someone who's traveling alone. So let's talk about that really quick. What we can do for you is, if you are a single traveler and you are looking to maybe get a roommate, if there are other people who have expressed interest, we'll take names and phone numbers. We'll share those numbers with you. You can talk to that person, maybe grab a cup of coffee, see if maybe you'd be a good match for being roommates for a week and a half. If you feel that that works, we can put you in the same cabin together, and that will help offset that extra amount. So that way you don't have to feel that you're paying so much more because you're traveling alone. And really, you'll be with the whole group, so you're never alone. So, and I just want to remind you again, the exciting offer that AMA is offering us, if you book and deposit your trip by May 31st, that is Monday, May 31st, they are offering $750 off per person for your trip. And that is a significant savings. It's another, and then another great gesture that AMA is offering. Every person who books and travels with our group, AMA is giving back. They will donate $100 per passenger to Congregation Shir Shalom to continue their ministry, their religious school, and other programs. And we are very, very grateful that AMA is partnering with the temple in such a meaningful way. Let's see here. So then here's my contact information. My email is estaley@nyaaa.com, and my phone number is 716-626-3214. Now, because we are operating on slightly more limited schedules, COVID has really hit the travel industry pretty hard. So we are on a little bit more limited time for office hours and everything. What I would recommend, give me a call, throw an email at me. We can set up an appointment and, you know, get you booked and settled over the phone, or we can do it by, I think that we can do a Zoom or a Skype meeting too, if that would be preferable. So this is my contact information, but reach out to me. And then what we can do is we'll set up an appointment, so that way you don't have to feel like you're necessarily constrained in when you can contact me or we can talk. So let's see here. And I think that's that. So I will turn this back over to you, Rabbi, or to Al and Robin. If anyone has or I guess, Joanne, if you're monitoring any of the questions, if anyone put anything in there, we can do a little Q&A and talk a little bit more about your questions.
Yeah, first of all, fantastic job. It was just amazing. Maybe what you should do is, why don't you take down the screen, the shared screen, so we can all see each other. And then you'll also be able to see the questions. They're coming right now into the chat box. And if I can figure...
Oh, there's the stop share.
Yeah. So we had the dates of the trip, which were on there. I think it was the 18th through the 29th. We had a question about currency and what the weather is like in August.
Okay. Well, let's see. Up here, there were a couple of questions on weather. Okay. So weather in Central Europe around that time, it's going to be warm. It's going to be warm. We're probably talking 80s. Luckily, we're not quite down into the Mediterranean where it can get really humid, hot and humid. But I would say if you've experienced summer anywhere like Baltimore down to the Carolinas, it gets warm. So you would plan accordingly. You can wear shorts. This is not super fancy. They encourage it if you want to wear capris and flip-flops and things like that. You don't have to be all gussied up to be on the ship. Comfortable, good walking shoes, tank tops, and everything like that. The dates of the trip, August 8th. I even confused myself. It was August 18th to the 29th. It's 11 days. 18th would be our departure day. Our arrival day would be the 19th. And we would leave on the 29th and get home on the 29th because of the time change. What kind of currency is needed? That's a really, really good question. These countries pretty much all operate on the euro. What I usually recommend, and I'm just going to double check this. Bear with me 1 second.
There you go.
The Czech does have the Czech koruna, which is funny because Corona. The Czech crown, is what it's called. They do operate on their own currency. Germany operates on the euro. Austrian currency is the euro, and Hungary has the forint. And Slovakia has the koruna as well. With that being said, when it comes to bringing money with you, the first and foremost, I always recommend using a credit card because you're also protected in using your funds that way. You want to double check with your bank. A lot of credit cards do offer they'll offer free international transactions. Some do have a fee to them, but because you're going to be going in and buying a coffee or maybe buying a little, trinket to bring home, maybe you need to buy a new shirt. It's easier just to use the credit card. Most shops will accept major credit cards. I usually recommend anywhere from $20 to $30 equivalent for one day within the city. That would be for minor purchases. Maybe you grab a cab somewhere because you're going along on your own. That would be what I would recommend. But most of it, I usually try to recommend a credit card. People up here in the Western New York region, AAA also has a AAA Visa card. If you were to apply for the Visa card and use that to pay, not only do you get 3 points per dollar spent on your trip that you can get as cash back, that also offers free international transactions, and there are no fees to it. So that's what my first recommendation is. It's a credit card, and then bring a little bit of cash in case you might need it. Spend the cash before you get home because turning that back into US dollars is always more of a pain. But I don't recommend bringing a whole lot. If that makes sense, does that cover that question a little bit? Yeah? Okay. Let's see. Could you please tell us about the weather? Okay, did that. Any kosher food. So there will be kosher bakeries and pastry shops in the cities. I can actually do a little bit more research on that for you. The ship itself, being it's a small ship, it's not a major ocean liner, they have one kitchen. They cannot offer fully kosher food. However, they can offer kosher friendly. They will not blend ingredients, meats and dairies. They will take that into consideration on the ship, and they will be more than happy to speak to each of us to let us know this would fit more with your diet than this. This was made with XYZ ingredients. I wouldn't recommend that. But they usually have a rather large array of foods to choose from for your meals. So it's not like there's going to be only one dish that you can choose from. You would actually have multiple options based off of your preferences and practices. But unfortunately, they can't offer fully kosher in the kitchen. It's just not, they don't have enough kitchen space to be able to do that. Does AMA offer additional discounts for previous travelers with them? I do believe, yes, they do. We'd have to just talk with them to find out how they would combine those discounts. But yes, we can take a look at that. Absolutely. And that would be done on an independent basis. So when we talk, that was Marta, when we talk, I can definitely reach out if you are a past guest. They'd always love to have you back too. Let's see, rainy. It depends on the day, I guess. Who knows? Good weather, bad weather, God knows. I always recommend bringing a poncho. I'm a fan of taking a small backpack with me when I go into town, and I usually do keep a poncho and a rain, like an umbrella, just in case. If things, if the weather takes a turn, but it's also really nice because I can actually keep anything that I buy, leftover food, things like that right in my backpack. Makes it really easy to go around. Makes it really easy to go around town with and keep your hands free. Let's see, Karen, is there a minimum number of participants for the trip to take place? Yes. Well, not really. You obviously can go even if we don't have the full group. But our goal is with AMA is a minimum of 20 cabins. And that's whether or not it's single or double occupancy, it's 20 cabins. Are early deposits refundable? Unfortunately, with AMA, the deposits are not refundable. What I do highly recommend doing, especially now that we've gone through a global pandemic for, a year and a half, is trip insurance. There are multiple different types of trip insurance. I can, talk with you about what the best option for you may be. Prices are dependent on your specific situation, age, cost of your trip, etc. But that's where trip insurance would really come into play. I highly recommend it. How long is the flight each way? Sharon, that is a great question. If you're taking a flight from Buffalo, obviously with layovers and things like that, you're probably looking, 8, 9 hours. If we can get a nonstop from Toronto, maybe 7. I prefer long, like nonstops, because it's also less of a chance for my luggage to go missing, because mine likes to go missing a lot. Let's see. We would like to leave for Budapest a day earlier or more. Absolutely. Actually, AMA will help provide you with housing before the cruise. So Karen, if you are interested in doing that, let me know. We can add the pre-night on, and they have some very fine hotel. They have a very nice, fine hotel for you to stay in if you'd like, or if you'd like to just do that part on your own. Of course, I can set you up with a hotel. We can take a look and see what's available. The best place to buy local currency. Okay, so you can buy currency through the AAA office. They will have it delivered securely to the travel branches. There is another place that you can go to. However, if you're looking for the Coronas for Slovakia, the Czech Republic, might not find them there. The Galleria Mall has a table, it's not really I don't even know what you'd call it. It's like a table, a counter space. You can exchange US currency there, cash for cash. They're limited on what they have, though. So they usually carry Canadian, the euro, the peso, and things like the larger, more frequently used currencies. For the more not popular, but the less used currencies like the coronas, you might want to go through AAA. And we can order those for you. And they'll take the order, they'll store them locked in a safe until you're ready to pick them up too. So that way you don't have to worry about security. Is the brochure available? Sure is. Now for this particular cruise, we don't have an actual brochure. We do have the flyer. And that's why we had the presentation tonight, so you could get a feel for what the itinerary was going to look like. This is not a typical AMA itinerary. These private tours, these Jewish culture, Jewish history, these tours are specific to our group. I've worked with the cruise line to curate these trips for you. So this is not something that anyone is going to go into one of the AMA brochures and say, oh, I want that. It's not offered to the public. This is for us. So that's why we wanted to have this presentation tonight. Let's see here.
And Stuart, if you didn't get the PDF, which was sent out via the weekly CSS email, we have it as a PDF and we can send it to you.
Yeah, I guess we did get it.
We got something that was one page.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, it's 2 pages.
Well,
the
it's
2
front.
pages.
It's a front and back. That's pretty much it. Yep.
Okay.
But I'm more than happy to email this, the slides to you if you don't mind my bantering notes that I have written in. I'm more than happy to share the file so you can go through all the pictures again and reread some of the notes. If that would be of any help, I'm more than happy to share that too with you. So Marta, is the deposit refundable if we don't have 20 cabins? Unfortunately, it is a non-refundable deposit across the board. This is a group that we've secured 20 spots for. We can up to 40 cabins. But if the group doesn't come to fruition and we can't get those private tours and things like that, the cruise is still going to go. So obviously I would hope that you'd want to still, take part in that journey. But unfortunately, yeah, with AMA, their deposits are non-refundable across the board. Do lots of people speak English? That's a really good question. In the major cities, yes. English tends to be a second language in most of these major European cities. So you shouldn't have trouble getting around. One of the nice things that they will offer, and I actually keep this handy, in your documents, AMA provides these amazing handbooks. This is from when I sailed on the Rhine, and they actually have information about the towns that you'll visit, and they do also include some little phrases like where's the bathroom and things like that, that you can use while you're out and about too. It's kind of fun. It's a nice little handy thing to have. Marta says she has purchased Hungarian currency. Awesome. So you can get Hungarian currency at the Galleria Mall.
Yeah. So Liz, I think if you give them enough notice, they can order it.
They'll order it?
That's what he told.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Stu and Karen, would there be a group transportation to and from Buffalo? We would arrange that. Yes, we would put that together. I don't know what the cost would be. It would also be based on interest and how many people would be taking advantage of the group air. So we would price that out based off of interest and who'd be looking to take that. Can you withdraw local currency from foreign ATMs? Yes, you can, but just remember, sometimes those credit cards will look at it as a cash advance. There may be extraneous fees on it, but you can do that, absolutely. Are travelers' checks still being used in Europe? No, they really don't. We had people that used some that they had left over, and they gave to a cashier, and they said, "What are these?" So they had no idea what to do with them. We do not recommend travelers' checks. Absolutely. Are the other passengers on the cruise also doing Jewish sites? No, this is just us. So anyone else who's not affiliated with our group, they will have other tours that they're going to be taking. We have our own private tours together. Yes, of course you can get the slides. Absolutely. Joanne, would you maybe take some email addresses or anything, and I can forward it to you, the PowerPoint?
Yeah, Yes, I
Cool.
put my email in the chat. Thank you, Liz.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Why not get local currency at the airport in Europe? You absolutely can. Not one of my favorite things to do. They kind of like to take advantage of the situation that you're already there, and their fees can be much higher. Not my recommendation, but absolutely, if you like the convenience of it, of course you can. Let's see. Would the travel insurance provide $500 deposit refund if the trip was not a go? If you needed to cancel your trip, God forbid you needed to cancel it, you know, there are multiple reasons that the insurance does cover it. It would be dependent on what the situation was. I think with European government really starting to look at possibly opening travel to Americans this summer, I don't think that we're going to have that issue next year, to be very honest, with the vaccines rolling out and everyone starting to get vaccinated. Depends on the situation for the trip. So I can't say a 100% yes. I can't say a 100% no. It would be dependent on the situation. So, and if you have questions, of course, I'm happy to, you know, sort of talk through some of those scenarios with you. I used ATMs extensively on my trips to Europe. Recommend it. Since deposits are non-refundable, will you try to assemble a list of interested people before to make a deposit? Well, here's the deal. I can do whatever you'd like. I can take a list of interest, but keep in mind, I only have a discount until the end of May. So I think the thing is that, you know, I would really, you know, say, hey, if you're interested in going, let's get it going. Let's get this group going. The other thing too is that, you know, we can also advertise this trip through AAA as well if we need to fill up additional cabin space. Personally, I think that, you know, depending on who's interested and, you know, things like that, this is open to anyone. It's not just Buffalo. It can go into Central New York, Pittsburgh, Ohio. You have friends in California who want to go? Absolutely, it's open to them. So I wouldn't worry too much about this not being a go. The trip will I would say it would really happen. But I'm more than happy to take a list of interested people. But like I said, keep in mind that discount only applies till Monday the 31st. So after that, if you all decide, oh yeah, I'm interested in going, I can't get you that discount. So I want to make sure that you can take advantage of the benefits that are out there for you too. Let's see. I don't have any other questions in here. Did anything pop at all on Facebook or anything that anyone saw?
I looked. I didn't see anything. We had a couple of people join us, but I was going to tell you is that, you know, people were asking about the brochure. Well, we now have this recorded. It will be sent out by email to the congregation. And so, you know, if you wanted, Liz went through a whole lot. It was amazing. I really learned so much about the area. But if you want to look that over again for yourself, and, you know, you can fast forward or rewind, so you can really get a sense. It's kind of like a living brochure. So I'm going to suggest, this is an amazing group already. I'm really happy to see so many people interested. We have had other people in the congregation, some Canterbury residents I know have approached me already. Wow. So I know there's other people interested. Obviously, from my experience with trips, probably with Liz's, you know, a lot of you are interested, but, you know, life circumstances happen. But this trip, you know, because of the way Liz has run it and introduced it, I'm sure that we can get a good group. And she also, as she said, can open it up to a wider audience. So we're just kind of really in this feeling phase. If you get this chance to maybe almost have $1,000 off of the price. I know Liz has told me what an amazing trip it is. And you could see how beautiful that cruise line is. It's incredible. So I'm going to suggest we actually are kind of double booked tonight at Churchill Homes. And we have a Talmud class that's waiting for us. Liz is really very much available. And Liz, I'll probably give you a call tomorrow. Just check in.
Sounds great.
So you got her number. And if you have any questions, you know, certainly Robin and Alan and I, or myself, Liz, if you can certainly ask us, and we're really super excited. It brings such a smile to our face. I hope that we're moving to the end of this pandemic. It's just such a terrible time. So we can dream. When Liz came to me, I said, this is our opportunity to dream of a world beyond the pandemic. So it's really great. All right, great to see everyone, and hope to see all of you very soon.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Liz. This is really her brainchild and her inspiration. We're
Great
so
job.
glad to be connected.
Great job.
Thank you, everyone. It was so nice to see you all tonight. Hopefully we'll talk soon. And Joanne also has my contact information too, in case you didn't get it. So she can put you in touch with me too, okay?
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Have a great night.
Night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.